Hi, Mary.
Hey Scott, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. We're already being live streamed, by the way, but
Okay.
just wanted to get us going a little bit early.
Okay. Yes.
Hey Scott, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, good. Now my audio is going to
Being
be.
live streamed, by the way.
Feedback. Feedback.
I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for the duration.
Okay. Morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you all this morning?
Pretty good. It'll be a beautiful day.
Yes, sir. I may get out and talk to some people.
Be a great day for it.
Yep. Scott, how long you been with the revenue?
I've been here. It'll be 7 years in July. Before that, I was 8 years at the Louisville Metro Revenue Commission.
Okay.
So
Wow.
15 years collecting taxes.
Hey, and you do that well.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all?
Good. How you doing?
We're on a call there with KYTC about bridges on a bridge, a railroad bridge. So those things need a lot of maintenance. So
Oh, you go by a choo-choo train or something?
no, gonna try to stay away from that. Oh. Mary, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well, Judge. Thank you.
Thanks for your assistance. Appreciate it very much.
Of course, you know I'm always happy to help.
Absolutely.
Mary's a lifesaver. We've been talking a lot in the past week.
Good deal.
It's been a joy.
It had. And also a reminder, we are recording now as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm gonna close my door, so we can get started. I think we're waiting on Mr. Parker.
Yes. Well, there's Mr. Cole. I see Michelle. Hi, Michelle. I know you can't respond.
So Mr. Parker is in the process of, he'll be just a minute late, but so he's on his way.
Okay. There's Mr. Cole.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Scott?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right, thank you.
There's our superintendent. Good morning.
Good morning.
Billy, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Cole.
Good morning.
And Judge, before we get started, we do have a request from our admin, Pam. When she's doing the minutes and looking at the recording of this meeting, she can't always see who all is on the call. So she was respectfully requesting that at the roll call, you actually call the names of the people that are on the call at the time we convene.
Okay, so just for clarification, really, we just need to call the roll of the commissioners. I mean, that's everybody that's present on the call.
Well, yeah, when she puts in the minutes, everyone is on the call, whether it's, someone who's just observing or whatever but for a quorum, I believe that's correct, Charlie. We would just need the commissioners themselves. But for the records, I like to put everyone who is present on the call.
Okay. So what I will do is I'll call the roll myself, call the meeting to order, and then I will ask anyone that is joining us to identify themselves for the record as well. So
That's fine, however you're comfortable doing it.
all right, so I'll call our meeting to order now, and this is a business meeting of the Georgetown Scott County Revenue Commission meeting, and it's Wednesday, March 1st. And it's hard to believe it's already March. And for the record, I'd like to call the roll and Mr. Parker.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then Mr. Jenkins, our other commissioner, Mayor Jenkins.
Here.
And
Thank
then
you.
for the record, anyone else that is attending our meeting, could you please identify yourself?
I'll go first. Scott Hall, Director of the Revenue Commission.
This is Charles Cole, serving as special counsel to the commission. And I believe the rules require us to have our video on, all the staff and members of the commission.
Well, that would be a problem for me, Mr. Cole, because my laptop is syncing and my desktop is what I'm working off of right now. And my desktop does not have a camera. So I believe here in a few minutes, my laptop will be synced up and I can join off my laptop, but right now I do not have that capability because it's synced. With that said, give me just 1 second here. Well, just give me 1 second, please.
Sure, no problem, Judge.
All right. Okay, I think I'm now visible and we can proceed.
Looks and sounds good, Judge.
All right, very good. So we've called the roll. The next meeting or next order on the agenda is approval of minutes from the last meeting, 1/25/23. Is there any questions or comments in regards to those meeting minutes as presented?
No, sir. I'll
Sir.
make a motion to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion. I have a second from Mr. Jenkins. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all very much. Next would be a report from Mr. Cole, Sturgill Turner Special Counsel report. Thank you, Mr. Cole.
Yeah, Mr. Covington, I just wanted to introduce myself. I did that to each of you already. But wanted to, we're happy to fill the role that was held formerly by Andrew Hartley. and we've worked on a lockbox agreement. We've got steps on that currently. I have gone over the processes and procedures of the commission, and I usually tell clients as much or as little as you want us to do, but there are some limitations of what we can provide here. I've talked to Jessica Brown, that's your in-house attorney, and she's currently handling about 1,200 to 2,000 accounts for collection. And so she's doing that collection from the commission to the taxpayer. If it goes outside the house, then that's third-party collection. And that's something our firm would not be interested in doing, except for we would be interested in filing any suits that result from that. So if Jessica were ever to leave, you probably need to look at getting an outside attorney or outside collection agency to fulfill that role. They usually take about 25 to 33% of whatever collections come in, and that's before a lawsuit. Otherwise, I've got another attorney that's good in business, and I have one of my law partners, Kevin Henry, that's going to assist with your contract review and other document review. So I didn't know if there's any questions on your end for me.
Mr. Cole, I do not have any questions. Mr. Parker, Mayor Jenkins.
No, sir.
No, sir.
And Mr. Cole, Andrew took care of these responsibilities previously, and we've discussed, at looking at having you all handle this, and then during our budget conversations, talking about what is best for the agency going forward. So just wanted to mention that that's been a conversation as well.
Yeah, and I think you are aware, we were previously retained, so there is money in the budget for our firm that was never used before.
And that was the thought process as well. So appreciate it. And if there's no other questions, or if you have no other comments, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
Scott, I will turn it over to you for number 5, the agenda item for review, discussion, approval of the 2 P&I abatement requests.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, it says 2 on the agenda, but there's 3 here. That's because the first 2 are the same taxpayer, just different years. And I apologize for the length of this first one, but it is kind of an unusual situation. Both of these are denials, but we're going to encourage this taxpayer to resubmit because I think there's some confusion on their part. Actually, the tax preparer for this taxpayer has requested a $75 net profit late filing penalties for tax year 2020 and 2019. They were requesting a one-time courtesy waiver, which is a legitimate policy that we have, but this particular taxpayer does not qualify for that. It has to be new taxpayers on the one-time courtesy waiver, and this is a taxpayer that's been with us for many years. However, they filled out what should have been the correct form, which was the penalty and interest abatement request form, which is a different document, but they didn't provide any reasonable cause. So we're just going to send them a notice telling them that we've denied the one-time courtesy waiver, that they're not eligible for that, but encourage them to resubmit if they have some reasonable cause for us to consider, because they didn't put anything other than one-time courtesy waiver for which they do not qualify. So both of these, both years at $75 each year, 25 city, 25 county, 25 school board. So it is a denial, but it's just a temporary denial. Hopefully they will resubmit those requests. And since it's a denial, it requires no motion. However, the second one here, this taxpayer is also requesting $75 net profit late filing penalties for tax year 2021. Due to the taxpayer's excellent account payment history and the prompt manner in which the taxpayer addressed the delinquency, is the staff recommendation that the commissioners approve this particular $75 net profit penalty abatement. And we do have that discretion within our policy that you have approved, where we can consider these things as a taxpayer that has never been late, never caused us any problems, and really got on it quickly to address the delinquency. So it's our recommendation that they do qualify for an approval of this abatement, and that would require a motion.
I make a motion.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and we have a second. I was going to ask if there was any questions, but with the motion and the second, then if there's no other questions, Then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then number 6, Scott, one refund greater than 10,000. Would you please review that information as well, Scott?
Yes, thank you, Judge. This is a net profit refund request for tax year 2021. You can see it is a large one. It's over 10,000, not as large as the one last month, but it is over $100,000. You can see the city, county, and school board splits here. The reason for this is the net profit deposits that this taxpayer made, their estimated net profit tax liability. Those deposits were calculated based on a full year of operation. But the business was sold during the business year, so they did not have a full year of operation. So that created a large overpayment, which they have requested to be refunded in full since they've sold the business to another entity. So after we reviewed it, it is our recommendation that we do approve this net profit refund request of $113,700.62.
Make a motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Jenkins,
Second.
second from Mr. Parker. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on down to general discussion with Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Judge. First bullet point here for today, there are no new projects approved through the Cabinet for Economic Development for Scott County, so there's no report to share. I do have the KJRA report for November. Again, this is the same amount every month here, nothing new here, though we are getting down close to the wire here. Only 2 more months of payments, and then February and March, there are typically none. They typically hit the cap after the January payment, so we're getting close to that. So no action required on that. Any questions? Since we've gone to the flat rate, it's pretty much the same every month. Third bullet point is a general reminder. Devin had sent an email on January 18th regarding an issue we dealt with in January regarding our recently approved regs. And that's to get them codified with both the city, county, and school board. I believe perhaps 2 meetings ago, the city had already done that. And I know Devin and Cam have talked about it. I believe the county and the school board are on track. So just to be sure we do that so they are codified with all 3 jurisdictions. Just a reminder there.
Is Devin communicating with our board attorney on that one, or do you know?
I think so. Or would that be, Charlie, you all handle the school board. Is that something that's on your all's?
He
plate?
probably wouldn't. I don't know that he'd be aware because we work with Josh Salisbury.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can ask Josh though.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, Charlie, if you could.
I'll do a follow-up and make sure he's aware of the issue.
And Scott, I'll follow up with Cam because I have seen some email traffic on that, but we need to get it before the court.
Yeah, and Devin's really been our point person on that. So if they have any questions, I know Devin's talked to Cam, and she mentioned that in one of the emails. But just a reminder, let's get that wrapped up and official. Okay, the next bullet point here, if there are no further questions on that, is the monthly collection stats. You can see all the January numbers here. We were up again about $58,000 in overall collections. That's 1.4%. You can see the city's up 13,000, about 0.8%. County's up 25,000, 1.3%. And the school board saw the biggest increase, almost 4.5% increase at almost 20,000. So another good month. But of course, as we always talk about every month, this tells the real story. So this is the January numbers keyed in. That's what I just shared with you, city, county, and school board, the breakdown there. And that puts us 1 month into the third quarter at $2.8 million over the same fiscal year last year. So not as big of an increase as we've seen in some of the prior months, but healthy increase nonetheless. And I will go ahead and tell you next month, since today's March 1st, I looked at the deposits after yesterday, and for the month of February, we are $200,906 over February last year. So next month when I come to you, I'll be showing that increase, which is going to put us well over $3 million so far for this fiscal year in aggregate collections exceeding the prior fiscal year. So good news, the trend is continuing so far in the third quarter. Any questions on a quarterly stat?
No, that's good
No.
news.
Increases are always good to hear. Okay, Charlie mentioned the lockbox update. We are trying to finalize the contract there on that. Once we do with Fifth Third, then we will be able to proceed with implementation. Now, because of the time that this has taken, implementation will probably have to wait until after the April 15th filing deadline. That's our busiest time of the year, which is just right around the corner. We're already prepping for that now. So it probably would be implementation date sometime in May or June. So we've got some time to kind of iron out these final details. Charlie, any other updates on that other than you guys have reviewed the lockbox contract, or are you in the process of that?
We're in the process. We've got it redlined.
Okay. Also, the next item here, the RFP for our external audit services. Just wanted to give you an update on that. We had talked about it's time to put that out for bid again, and that RFP is in process as well. The final bullet point here I want to share with you, Mayor, you probably don't know this, but for the past 5 years, I've been volunteering my time with an organization called InfraGard. It's an FBI organization for national security with an emphasis on cybersecurity. For the past 4 years, I've been a deputy sector chief for government facilities in the state of Kentucky, but I'm happy to announce that I've been selected to join the InfraGard Kentucky Members Alliance. That's what IKMA stands for. I've been selected to join that board. It is a voting member position on the board as sector chief coordinator. So I'll be coordinating with all 16 critical infrastructure sectors in the state, coordinating with those sector chiefs. So I will be coordinating with all of them. And I'm also being elevated from deputy sector chief to sector chief for government facilities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So I'm very happy to join the board. We've got a lot of new members on the board. And after a long 2 or 3 years of limited activity due to COVID and inability to meet in person, things of that nature, we're excited to get a little bit of a reset going here with this organization. It's been a wealth of information, and it's great to kind of keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on with cybersecurity statewide. So I just wanted to share that with all of you.
That's good that you're involved in that, Scott, and that just gives us that extra information that helps us stay on top of things.
Yes, and I don't know if you saw or not, but yesterday in the news, the United States Marshals database was hacked, and some personal information was compromised. So it can literally happen to anybody. So I don't think there's such a thing as doing too much in terms of cybersecurity these days, because it's a pretty frightening threat landscape out there right now. So I'm going to do my best to stay on top of it, and being on the board of this organization with the FBI is a good way to do that and kind of keep a handle on what's going on statewide and throughout the world, for that matter, in terms of threat actors. So the rest of the general discussion, the January numbers, we had 104 new businesses register with this agency and 34 account closures. So since there's no cumulative data, since it's just the first month I'm reporting out, but that is a pretty significant increase over last year. January, we had 83 new businesses and 59 closed. So we're off to a good start here. And then once the other months start getting added in, there'll be some cumulative aspect of this. You can kind of see where we are compared year over year. So again, another solid month, over 100 new businesses registering with the agency. Any other questions on the general discussion item?
It's good information.
Thank you.
Next item is number 8, MYBA. Scott, if you could take that.
All right, this is our mid-year budget adjustment. We had some technical difficulties last week, so this normally would have happened in February, or actually January. But we did not. We delayed that due to the issues with our chief legal counsel. That is the wrong spreadsheet. I apologize. They all look the same when they're very tiny. So this is our budget. For the mid-year budget adjustment, this is the bottom line here, right here. At the top. An increase overall of $32,032.30. This is the city, county, and school board portions of that. Those amounts will be spread out over your monthly contributions over the remaining months of this fiscal year. I'll just go over some of the high points here, what some of the drivers are for this increase. One thing here is this payroll information from Georgetown Director of Finance, Stacy Clark, gives me this information. We had a gentleman that we converted, Judge and Superintendent Parker, you'll remember this last year in October. He had been working with us through Robert Half. He was a temp accountant. When we had an employee on a long-term medical leave, he was with us for about a year, and we were able to convert him over as a full-time employee. So those are the increases there that drive that. And then there's a companion piece down here. We had budgeted for continuing to pay account temps, which is a division of Robert Half. And of course, that was a very large reduction because we stopped paying them October 1st. And we did have, and you probably remember this from the fall, Judge and Superintendent, we did have a one-time conversion payment that we had to pay Robert Half, which it's pretty common. It was $17,100. We did a special expense check for that over and above your normal monthly. So that's two of the big drivers. There was the conversion from John. We also had a significant decrease here when Mr. Hartley is no longer in that position of chief legal counsel with us. We were paying a stipend of $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year for his services. So obviously that will be $6,000 less for us. The reason there's more in here is because Jewett Law is a local vendor who was taking care of some legacy accounts that had become past due, and we had agreements with. These agreements even preceded me before I got here in July of 2016. However, I look back in our financials, and the last time he sent us an invoice and we paid him was July of 2016. So I think those accounts are all settled. I need to follow up with him. I pulled it out for the mid-year budget adjustment, but we can always add it back in if that is incorrect in June when we talk about our 2024. A couple of other smaller items here. We went with Highbridge Water. I think that was a recommendation from the city mayor. I think that's who you all use as your supplier for water, and that's the lease on the machine plus 3 bottles of water a month. This is a software, Adobe Pro. We actually added this a while back, but somehow it got dropped when I was calculating. That's an error on my part. I apologize. It was not included in this amount. So it's not something new. It's something we've been using for a while, but somehow it got dropped during the budget discussion for this fiscal year back in June. Postage increase continues to increase. I think we've got another one maybe coming up in July. So just adding a little bit to compensate for that. And of course, what corresponds with that is our printing costs for letterhead and envelopes, which are continuing to increase. Another decrease, this is a good one. We were paying for trash when Republic took over trash removal, and we should not have been. So remove that from the budget. We got that squared away. A couple of insurance premiums increases. Our business owner policy went up $107. Good news, I averaged out the last 6 months, and our overall gas expenditures actually dropped a little bit. And I think that corresponds with the price at the pump dropping. So I adjusted that down a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. And then our premiums for our fleet vehicle auto insurance also increased $113. So that's the detail on that. Again, the $32,032.30 is what rolls up and ties back to here. And Mayor, since you're new to this spreadsheet here, on column M here, I've got footnotes 1 to 27. If you want more detail on some of these, so for example, here, number 2, professional fees, you go to footnotes. That included in that is our annual audit, our payroll expense. We reimburse the city for their Paycom services. And then we have a QuickBooks advisor who helps us with our financial software. And that's the money that's budgeted that makes up what shows up in number 2. So if you ever want to reference that, it's right here at the bottom of the footnotes for all the detail. So any questions on the mid-year budget adjustment?
Any questions or comments? The return on investment is pretty daggone strong. So would there be a motion to accept the recommendation for the mid-year budget adjustment?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, number 9, Cola Spring 2023 meeting on May 19th, 2023. Request to close office for staff to attend. I think there's very great value in being a part of that and having staff plugged in as well. Is there any other comments or questions from any commissioner?
I'd be in favor of that one.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Hall, anything?
No, we appreciate that. It is a great opportunity for us to get the entire staff to get training. It's just over in Frankfurt at the CAECO Training Center. It's a great facility. Doesn't cost anything to attend. Lunch is provided. There might be a little bit of mileage reimbursement because 3 of our team do live outside of Scott County. But there's no cost to attend, no hotels, no per diem. It's a great opportunity for virtually no money for the entire staff to get some training. I will go ahead and tell you the conference in the fall is in Henderson, Kentucky, so we will not be requesting to close for any of the fall conference because I'll be good if I can get over to Henderson for 3 days. So
Well, it's good information and we've got a motion. We have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then next regularly scheduled meeting will be Wednesday, March 22nd at 10 a.m. Any questions or comments about that meeting?
now, Judge, I did want to bring up, there are 5 Wednesdays in March, today being one of them. So the 22nd would be normally our 4th normal meeting, the 4th Wednesday of the month. But I didn't know if you all wanted to move it out to the 29th, since, that would only be 3 weeks from now, we'd be meeting again, or you want to leave it the way it is. I'm fine either way. I just wanted to throw that out there that we do have 5 Wednesdays in March.
I'd normally be agreeable to that, but I have a commitment Wednesday morning that I won't be able to get out of on the 29th.
Okay. We can keep
I'm
it.
good with that.
I've got and I need to double check. I have an 8:30 a.m. meeting with Commerce Lexington, and I'll just have to end that and then maybe take my laptop and join remotely and run that meeting. But so 10 a.m. on the 22nd is what we'll run with.
Okay, good. That's our regularly scheduled meeting.
Yes. And then any other questions or comments? And that would lead us to number 11, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Appreciate your all's flexibility in getting this in. And Mary, thanks for running the stream and getting us going in the right direction. And Mr. Cole, thank you for being with us. Thank you all.
Appreciate
Scott.
your support.
All
See
right,
ya.
thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.